Hi gang, so in this video, I'm going to be doing something a bit different. I'm going to show you what I do to my images and my footage before I upload it. And yeah, I got this idea because I have been seeing a lot of discussion exposing the unrealistic beauty standards that is perpetuated primarily by social media. So avenues such as YouTube, Instagram, whatever else, what else is there, Facebook, TikTok, that there is this really unrealistic expectation of perfection, especially when it comes to presenting oneself as a female person. I think people just expect there to be some kind of level of deception. I mean, essentially makeup is transforming the self in sometimes very drastic ways, sometimes very minimalist ways. It just depends on what you're going for. Um, but beyond kind of the beauty space and the beauty industry and the whole kind of consumerist culture, there are kind of real life examples of how, as a female, presenting as a female, you need to meet a certain level of what people would consider personal grooming to be respected and accepted, more so accepted than respected. For instance, having makeup on if you are in the service industry, whereas for their male counterparts, I highly doubt that there is this kind of requirement for male service staff to um, apply foundation to themselves, apply mascara and lipstick to themselves. So, of course, there is this camp of thought which says, if women were truly secure in themselves, the beauty industry would be defunct. And, essentially we could all just walk out with bare faces and not feel the need or feel the pressure to transform our faces, essentially, into something that it is not. Even if you don't like makeup, and if you are a female, and if you are in, I guess, mainstream kind of corporate culture, there is an expectation for you to use beauty products and to present yourself a certain way. But within the beauty space where people do enjoy makeup, the beauty kind of social media space is a way to take those kind of norms and transform it sometimes into things that are a little bit more extreme and a little bit more kind of edgy counterculture. For instance, very elaborate makeup, taking what is considered an expected performance of self and turning that into something a little bit more elaborate and a little bit more personalized, so it's not simply just a generic template. And like I said, I think now there's this pushback against this level of perfection that is being marketed. Beauty influencers and kind of style icons are setting impossible standards for young girls to achieve, especially because they have had plastic surgery. And even if they haven't had plastic surgery, some people just have the genetic makeup that gives them the features of what is considered beautiful in today's society. So critique of plastic surgery, critique of software that manipulates images.
Hey friends, I just launched Kylie's Skin at Gallery Lafayette in stores and online, so swipe up and check it out.
When it comes to ad campaigns, the absence of, I guess, what you would consider to be regular people that don't have perfectly symmetrical features, don't have perfectly smooth skin, people with acne, people with disabilities, people with disfigurements, people with certain skin conditions. And obviously these people exist, they are just not typically represented. Primary concern is for the younger audiences that don't really grasp this concept and end up having issues of low self-esteem, low self-worth, because they for one reason or another, cannot attain this level of beauty, depending on what your definition of beauty is. I recently watched a video which was really interesting. There was this hand model, and she was talking about her, the things that she needs to do to maintain her hands as a hand model. And one of the things that was very amusing was when she was talking about, she would be hired in photo shoots to just essentially pose her hand in a certain way, there would be a model for the face, but her hand would be representing that model's hand. So if let's say the model is holding a fruit up like this, that's not actually the model's hand, that is her hand. Her face is not commercial enough to be the face of the ad campaign. This other person's face is, and her hand is, and so they kind of they composite it so that it's her hand and someone else's face. And so the person that you see on kind of billboards and things like that, it's not actually a whole person necessarily. It can be a mixture of people, different parts of different people, to create the illusion of the perfect shot. Most people understand this. Most people know that ad campaigns, product pictures, product images are manipulated. I think now more than ever, because consumers have more of a direct access to kind of the companies, the brands, and also influencers themselves, there's this illusion of a bond or a common friendship with someone that is otherwise completely far removed from yourself. With this new accessibility, there's more of kind of this tendency to trust that's facilitated by kind of replies and comments. More recently, I heard about, this thing where you can message someone who is an influencer. It's kind of like a newsletter, but because you are getting messages, what it appears to be kind of text messages from this person, from this influencer, it feels as if you're talking to a friend, you're messaging a friend. There can be templates of what they would want to say to you as kind of a birthday greeting. Oh, happy birthday, so and so, whatever your name is. So it feels as if, this person is really taking an interest in you, but in fact, it is kind of a computer generated, software generated, generic template, which is automatically sent on a certain day if you let's say input your birthday data and things like that. I think that just goes to show how marketing is, just becoming more and more subliminal and insidious. When things like YouTube first came out, YouTubers that talked about makeup and things, I think their primary intention was to maybe impart some knowledge and some skills to their audience, as well as to give understanding of maybe, let's say, a product, because products back then, it would be marketed as this thing. When it comes to YouTube reviews, that was just how I saw it in the beginning. It was just a very helpful resource. Slowly, I guess it evolved into kind of, you could leave online reviews for products so that the consumer is better informed and better aware of the efficacy of said product. And as audiences started to increase exponentially because of accessibility to the internet, social media, etc., and the perceived trustworthiness of certain people, that's when the big companies come in and say, you know what, let me pay you something to promote my product, or let me send you these things so you can help me promote my product. And this is not kind of a new concept whatsoever. Even in the black and white era, when shows were black and white, they would have product placements within TV shows. The audience would feel some kind of connection to them because they're their favorite actor or the favorite actress.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Hey, the last one. You better get another pack.
Okay.
Thank you. You probably think that we're making a big fuss over a cigarette. Well, sure. You don't really have to keep this wonderful new king-size Philip Morris cigarette in a safe. It's just our way of telling you that they are kind of precious. The finest king-size cigarette in America today. Smooth, mild, and mellow, and easy on your throat. How about you trying them yourself? Just call for Philip Morris, king-size or regular. Buy them by the carton. You're gonna love them, and we're gonna love you. Hey, what was that for?
You said it so beautifully.
But nowadays, I think that it's just much more personalized because the person that you're watching, you might have some sort of interaction with them on a small scale. Perhaps they hearted your comment, perhaps they responded to your comment. The concept of the micro influencer has already emerged. So if you have some sort of you have a very small following, but you have a very loyal following, your following will buy this product, and hence that's when companies start to really hone in on these micro influencers that have a very loyal following and are guaranteed a specific amount of sales because they know that the following is a loyal following. So the whole point of this is not to say that I'm above all this, because obviously I am somewhat part of this. I am a avid watcher of YouTube. I love watching YouTube beauty videos. That's how I started learning how to do makeup, was by watching a YouTuber called Lauren Luke, Panacea81. She's still on YouTube. Please check her out. Her channel will be linked down below. And during the pandemic, I started, fiddling around with video editing and putting out my own videos. And I really enjoy it, actually. And to a certain extent, I enjoy creating illusions. As you can see, this is me on a regular day. My hair is not curled. My face is not done. I'm wearing a jacket. I'm in a kitchen. This is a little bit more of a genuine me. My basic point here is that people like reinventing themselves. I like reinventing myself. I happen to like reinventing myself in a socially acceptable way. I try to create a more symmetrical face with my makeup as opposed to an asymmetrical face. I gravitate to a specific aesthetic, and it so happens to fall in a category which people are okay with. Enough of my rambly, because I ramble for 5 years. Let's shrink my face. So when it comes to shooting my video, I record on a Canon EOS 80D DSLR. When I film my makeup looks, I do sit in front of a ring light. I'll also link that ring light down below if you're interested. I edit my footage in a video editing software called Davinci Resolve. And I have the studio version of Davinci Resolve, which you have to pay. It's a one-time payment for the license. It is quite expensive. It's about 300 euros. There is a free version of Davinci Resolve that has most of the primary features that you would need to use to do video editing. And for a beginner, those features are more than enough. If you are using, let's say, a Mac, you would probably be using Adobe Premiere Pro. I think that one you have to pay monthly for the service of using that software. And one thing I like about the Davinci Resolve Studio is that you just pay once and you have the license for life. You will need a decent computer set up to be able to run this software, because it does demand a lot of CPU and GPU usage. So let me just run through what my setup is. So the laptop I have right now is the MSI P65 Creator 8RD. That is the model. I did upgrade the internals of my laptop to help in my video editing. I did that by opening up the laptop and swapping out the RAM as well as the internal storage. So if you're not familiar with laptop configuration, the processor is kind of a given. You can't really do anything to that. Some of the features of the laptop may not be upgradable. For instance, if you get a Mac, you pretty much are locked in to all the specifications except for the SSD. You can upgrade the storage there, I think. So the processor I have at this point is the i7-8750H. I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. I have a total of 2 terabytes of storage. 1 terabyte is in the main SSD slot, and the other terabyte is in the secondary SSD slot. The second SSD slot is more for just storage of raw files. I also do have a backup external hard drive. The graphics card I have is the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1050 Ti. The primary SSD I'm running off my entire OS on, my entire Windows operating system on, is the Samsung SSD 970 EVO Plus 1 terabyte. And my secondary SSD is the Samsung SSD 850 EVO M.2 1 terabyte. Let me just click on one of these videos. Let's see. Let's go to practice. Let's just go into the panel where I do my color correction. It was only yesterday that I watched a dedicated video to color grading. For now, I'm just going to show you what I used to do. Here we have the original footage, unedited, no kind of color shifting was applied to this. We can see temperature and we can see tint. If I wanted it to look a little bit more romantic, I would go more towards this pink kind of shade, a little bit. And in terms of the contrast, there's the contrast button right here. Let's see, I'm gonna turn down the contrast just a little bit, have it look a little bit more washed out. Let's see what else. Oh, here's a fun setting that you can play around with. And so this is when you hear people saying, oh, the video looks like it's been blurred and everything. I'm going to put this all the way down. As you can see, everything is very, very blurred out. Can you see that? That skin is extremely blurred out. I have no pores. My pores do not exist whatsoever. Hello. So if I bring it back up, there you can see the details. I could even make my imperfections stronger by going up. And then there you see, oh, all of that darkness and redness. There we go. So let me just bring it back down to, wait, let me just go 0. Right? And even in the camera, there is a function for you to adjust how sharp you want your image to be, or how kind of smoothed over you want your image to be. You can also manipulate the camera to kind of smooth over your skin. I've increased the sharpness of my video because when it comes to, let's say, the details of eyeshadow, I want it to be more noticeable. That's just my personal preference. There's also the function to, let's say, make the image more saturated, as you can see, desaturated for that grayscale look. You can darken the shadows, you can brighten the highlights. Just by manipulating these settings right here, you can also make your image just look better in quality. Something I like to do when it comes to creating the more glamorous looking effects on my kind of beauty shots, my beauty footage, when I'm posing and flipping my hair and all sorts of fun stuff. First of all, I would put it in slow motion, but I also would add certain effects like this one, vignette. I'll put it there, and this creates some sort of a cast around the image, and then I can play around with how drastic I want. Of course, this is a bit too crazy. So usually I will go for something a little bit lighter, like that maybe. And if I want to really kind of change the mood of the clip, I could change the color of the vignette shading to something a bit more rosy, like a pink, if you can see that. This is something I like to do to create a more romantic feel to my backgrounds. I could also turn down the blending so that it's not that in your face, obtrusive. And then there are lots of other things you can add on top as effects to the video. Let's see. Okay, lens flare is one that's kind of fun. So let me just put this aside. That's a lens flare. So there you see I've created this illusion of whatchamacallit, a lens flare, duh. It's a lens flare. And you can play around with the brightness. Ooh, that's a bit too bright. Yeah, there we go. Just gives it a softer, more, romantic look. You can change the amount of spokes that come out of the glimmering light here. You can just create a softer experience to the whole image. So if I were to play it like that, it just makes it look more romantic and soft, essentially. That's my personal preference in terms of aesthetic. Usually I will do this kind of treatment when it comes to the more the slow motion kind of flipping of the hair kind of thing, not so much when I'm talking. I can also make it smaller so that the elements aren't that obtrusive. All right, so these settings over here, beauty and face refinement, I think these are some software implementations that can definitely manipulate the appearance of pores on the subject's face. I haven't really used these before, so let me just delete all of these edits that I've just made, and then we can try it out and see what happens. We're back again to my original footage. So let's just put beauty on top and let's see how it goes. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, beauty is essentially blurring the pores again. So here is me in my most, all of my imperfections are magnified. This is kind of where is it? This is kind of where the regular footage where it is, and then this is extremely blurred out. So you can see the difference there. And then let's see, what about scale? What does scale do? Okay, I see. So the scale denotes how much of the background you want to include in it. If not, it kind of just focuses on your own face. So let's try face refinement. So I have to analyze my face before I can implement this process. This is going to take a lot of GPU power because it's tracking my face in order to get a read of what's going on. And so what happens is, with these settings, it's going to only affect my face area. The effects will be shown only on my face. So my hair and everything, the background and stuff will remain the same. Okay, people, we're back to recording now. And as you can see, it finished analyzing the footage. I think it's already created some sort of weird cast on my face because my face is not that smooth. Let's see. Let's. Ooh, okay. Uh-oh. Did I ruin the whole take again? Oh, fish in a basket. Temperature range. Okay, there we go. See? So I can change the temperature on my face. Too bad it doesn't change the temperature of my neck because now it looks very weird. But you get the picture. So you can Face mask softness. I don't know if that did anything. Show mask. Oh, no, don't show mask. I don't know. Denoise mask. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. I don't know if some of these are not really showing a difference much because the GPU is having a hard time processing it in real time. Because I don't really see much of a difference, let's say when I do, I go up and down on the color grading, the contrast, the mid-tone, I don't see much of a difference there. Lip retouching, hue, oh, there we go. Okay, I can give myself green lips, I guess. Saturation, oh, very pink lips. Upper lip smooth. Why would you want your upper lip smoothed? I don't know. Okay, blush retouching. Let's see, blush. Give myself a blush maybe? Saturation? No, I don't see anything going on here. Forehead retouching. I don't know if we see a lot of difference here, but sure. Let's see, cheek retouching. Hue, saturation, I don't know, chin. Hue, saturation. Okay, I can see when it comes to the eyes, there's the sharpening of the eyes. I think that's quite noticeable. There we go. That's sharper, that's duller. That's sharper, that's duller. Brightening. Let's see. Oh, my eyes. I look like I'm possessed by something. Eyelight. Let's see. Eyelight. Does that do anything? I don't see much of a difference there. Eye bag removal. I don't know if I can see much of a difference between the removed eye bag and the non-removed eye bag. Little bit. Can you see anything? I don't know. So this is a little bit tricky. Okay, so I think it's making some really micro adjustments in some of the settings. In other settings, it seems that there's a very stark difference when I play around with the image. So let me just show you a few other things that sometimes I make use of. This aperture difference, this one creates some sort of glowiness, some lights here and there. Of course, it's very easy to overdo it, but you get the idea. It just creates a different atmosphere to the whole video. If I'm not mistaken, some of these glow and aperture and lens flare might not be present in the free version of Davinci Resolve. I do know that the vignette is available in the free version because I used that quite a bit when I started using Davinci Resolve. This is the mirror effect where you can create like a mirror image of yourself. So this is more for creating some fun, whimsical video edits, like especially when it comes to the kind of glamour shots and glamour footage. Sometimes I will use the mirror function. Let's see, prism blur. This one is also another fun one. There we go. See, that's a fun effect. A little bit of an 80s vibe we have. And here we have Resolve FX texture, where you can make your footage look a bit aged. You can play around with intensifying the damage to the footage, or more retro feel to your footage. There are a whole bunch of blur things here. So with this zoom blur, you could use this to help the audience focus on the subject of the video, let's just say. So yeah, those are some of the little things I like to do. A big feature that I like to utilize is kind of the slow motion feature. So here I have some of my glamour footage, as I like to call it, where I kind of, zoom in on my eyes, flip my hair, everything's slow motion. So let's just show you what it's all about. So yeah. So as you can see, I've also added a vignette effect. The borders of this is a bit darker. That's how I create certain vibes to my videos. These kind of effects I typically reserve for the glamour type of shots. And when it comes to my regular footage, when I'm just, putting on the eyeshadow, explaining things, it depends on how I feel. If let's say the video I record feels too warm or too cool, I might adjust that in using the color grading features. Another cool trick I use with DaVinci Resolve is that I can actually grab stills from the video footage I have. So I don't actually take pictures anymore. What I will take is just video footage of me posing. So let's just say I have my makeup on and everything, and I want a thumbnail for this video. All I'm going to do is pose and, like ruffle up my hair, look into the camera, look away, look down like this so that you can focus in on my eyes. I might zoom the camera in to my eyes and just look down like that so I can get a good shot of my eyes. And then I'll just move around randomly. Maybe flick my hair, adjust my hair a little bit. So that is how I will get my glamour footage, as well as, thumbnail footage or just regular images for me to post on Instagram, because I find that's the easiest thing to do rather than take a succession of, let's say, 50 photos and have to go through them individually. I much prefer to just go straight to the glamour footage that I take and select stills from there. So let me just show you an example of what I mean. So here we have a particular clip where I start posing in the front, and at the end I'm just continuing to talk about I just continue to talk. Okay, so here is where I start to pose. I pose. I move my hair around, I look down, I look away. So let's say I like this shot, right? What I will do is go to the color section, the color panel of DaVinci, and here is where I can take a still. So as you can see, these two images are stills that I've already kind of screen grabbed, essentially. So I right click and click grab still, and it will show up here. And as I move my cursor on the thumbnail itself, it will move with the actual footage, but it doesn't matter. All I need to do is right click and click export. So I'm going to export this as a JPEG file. So after I've exported that, it will show up in my folder that I've selected, and here is the picture. I'm trying to edit the video now, and part of my footage was not recorded correctly. There were some windows that were not captured. So I've decided to split this concept up into two parts. The first part being the one that you're watching, and there will be a part 2 where I talk about how I edit my images specifically. That's it for now. And yeah, I'll catch up with you in part 2 of this video.